Hey there, Russ here. Welcome back to the shop. I thought maybe I better do a quick rambling Russ. And the reason is that it's been over a week since I've done a video. And actually it's been a couple weeks since I've done anything constructive in the way of a video. So I thought maybe I'd tell you kind of what I'm at so you just know that I'm still around. So I'm going to talk about several things here. First off, I've been running a test since yesterday. And this fan here, this thing is running off of a little battery pack that I have here, 4,000 milliamp hours. You can buy these for about 10 bucks in different sizes, anywhere from 2,000 milliamp hours to 10,000. This one happens to be a 4. I acquired it several years ago. I hadn't really found a use for it, but now we're going to. This is going to be part of my system for the hat. But I've been running this thing off of this battery, this fan, for almost 11 hours now. So I thought maybe I'd go over a couple of things about the hat real quick, show you kind of where I'm at. I have spent a lot of time trying to figure out all the components to get that hat, and I'm getting very close. I think I got everything figured out except for the filtration system. But now that I've got the rest of it figured out, doing the filtration shouldn't be too hard to do. We'll come back to that in a minute. First, let's talk about the other things I want to talk about real quick, bring you up to speed. My Otb Panel Saw System. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. So if I'm talking in a comment and you read the Otb PSS, that's what I'm talking about. It's the panel saw system. That used to be on the overhead door. When I started off, that's where I mounted it so I could cut plywood in a very small footprint and a small shop. And then I showed you how I took it and I adapted it so that I can also mount it right on my table saw. There's some things about that I've changed because I didn't really like some of the things about it, and I've been making a couple of different improvements, and I've actually rolled back a couple of ideas that I tried. But I want to go over everything I've done, so I want to do a video, and it might be 2 videos because I'm afraid the one would be too long, because I want to accomplish a couple different things. First off, I want to show a comparison between having it mounted to your table saw and mounted on your overhead door. So depending on how you mount it, there's some distinct differences I've realized that if you know about that going in, it might help you decide where you might want to put your PSS in your shop based on those ideas. So I want to go over the differences between those two systems. The other thing I want to do is I made some improvements on how it mounts to the table saw, and I want to also show you that. And I've been thinking about doing some other things. So I also want to show you the tools I use on there, so you get an idea of what tools I use and why I use these different things whenever I'm doing cutting up plywood. I'm also want to set up a piece of plywood on there and show you how I put it up on there and anchor it down depending on what type of cut and how many different types of cuts you can make on this thing, so that you get a rough idea of what you can expect from your system. So I'm afraid that I'm going to try to do it in one video, but it could end up being 2 videos, just so you know. Possibly 3 if you want to see an actual demo of me doing some cutting. But I don't know if we really need to do that when I do the first 2. We'll see what you guys think, and we'll decide later on about whether we want that other part in there or not. So the PSS system is my top priority. I'm going to try to make that my next video so that you can get an idea of what it is. I really want to show you where I've gone with that, because I've spent a lot of time tinkering with that. And I've learned some things, and I've got a couple ideas that I've changed my mind on how it all works. So I think maybe we should do that. And that way, if you do your system, maybe you can pick up some good ideas of how you do yours. The other things that I've been doing around here and I've been working on is my van build. That is going a little slow. And as you might guess, part of that problem is because I'm quarantined. I can't go to the big box store and buy plywood and other types of things. So I've been doing some things, and I'm really excited about it. I got the chairs out of it. It had 4 high back chairs and a bench seat with it folded down into a bed. I've taken 2 of those high back chairs and the bench out. I got to pull the plates out that held the 2 high backs in. Those are quick disconnect plates, so that you can take those chairs in and out quickly. So if I sell those chairs, which is what I want to do because I won't need them, they'll probably want the plates with them. So I got to pull those out. Then I can start putting the floor in and all the other things. And I've been thinking about all the different pieces that I need to do with that. I acquired a cargo rack for it. A nice 750 pound capacity cargo rack that goes on top of the vehicle. It's a Topper, is the brand manufacturer of it. If you want to go see it, it's called the Hot Dip Cargo Carrier. 12 foot. It's 12 foot long and 63 inches wide. So it'll basically be over the top of virtually the whole roof of that van. And that's going to be awesome when I build a box on part of that, and I'll have a place so I can put up solar panels if I want to. And also probably my heating system might go up there, my spare tire. So I have a bunch of ideas of what I'm going to do inside and out, and where I've kind of gone with all the different systems I'm going to use on that van build, because there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle, quite honestly. I want to set up some vent fans. I have, instead of going to vent through the roof, I'm going to show you how I'm going to put in a ductwork in there, and it's going to run off those 3 sliding windows in my 3 big bay windows that are in this van, and I'll be able to duct those and control it with fans to bring air in and out of those windows to keep the inside of the van ventilated. So I have a lot of ideas that I want to go over on that. So we at least are going to kind of go over some of those ideas. And I have some questions I haven't figured out yet. For one thing, and maybe you can, if I give you these questions, maybe you can help me answer them. One of my questions is, my overall height is, with that carrier on there, I'm just wondering how high can my box be? Because I want my overall height to be underneath a certain amount. I'm thinking 9 foot to 9 foot 4 inches is about the maximum I want it to be in overall height. I wanted to see your opinion of those things and see if maybe I should go. I mean, will I regret it if I didn't go 8 foot 6 inches instead of 9 foot 4? I don't know where to draw the line on that. So any ideas? I would love it. The other thing I have is I'm trying to decide how much height I want to make sure I have between the top of the bed and the ceiling inside the van. So that, like, if I want to sit there, how much clearance do I need for my head in that? Now, I can tell you, without my hat on, if I'm sitting on a chair, the top of my head is right at 33 inches from the top of the chair to the top of my head normally. So that tells me I probably need at least 33 inches there, maybe even a couple extras to spare. That means that bed's going to have to set pretty low. And we'll go over all of that because I'm going to do a video and show you how I want to lay this out, what kind of floor plans I might want to do. And also, I want to talk about the power supplies, which gets us into some of the other projects that I've been working on here. I've been looking for parts for different things. This is why I really haven't accomplished anything, because I'm working on so many different things at one time here. I haven't accomplished any single thing. So, but I need to, like for example, the power supply in there. I want to use my Otb battery packs to be able to take the battery packs, charge them up from my solar system, and be able to charge them up and use those battery packs in individual places on the van. Like, I want to be able to plug one in that will run the venting system in there. I also want to have a main power supply to run my computer and charge my phones. And that's going to be my power generator. I have that portable power generator that I've been working on. I did the one where I used 2 35 amp SLA batteries, and I made a charging system, a station that I could plug into the wall and charge it up, and I trickle charge it so it's always charged up, and if the power goes out, I grab it. I got a couple of 12-volt cigarette lighter plug-ins. I got some USB ports on there, and I have a 800-watt power inverter on there. So I can run just about anything with it as long as I'm not drawing too much power. Obviously, 800 watts is the maximum, so I'm not going to run my refrigerator. But I can use it when the power is off to run things like my computer and my TV, so that at least we don't go stir crazy sitting around there without any power on it. I also working on a single unit power unit inverter for my Ryobi battery. I've been thinking about this. I know they came out with one at Ryobi, and it's like $99, I think. And all you get on that is one plug-in with 150 watts and a USB charging port. I think we can do better than that. And I've been looking, trying to figure out the capacity of those Ryobi batteries I have for output, but I suspect that I might be able to run 300 watt inverter on that instead of 150, but we'll see. Again, that's on the 5 amp hour batteries that I have, and I'm actually thinking about buying a set of 6 amp hour batteries too. So I have some 5 amp hour and some 6 amp hour batteries. I also want to make a big power pack unit that I can put up to 4 or 6 batteries, Ryobi batteries in it at one time, and be able to run 800 or 900 watts out of that thing. So these are things I've been working on. I've also been looking for parts for this thing like this. On that power with my Ryobi, this is just a little buck converter, they call it. It converts DC power from one voltage and steps it down to another voltage. And you can dial in the output voltage, and you can put up to 40 volts going into this thing. So if I use my 18 volt battery to go into it, I can adjust it down to get 12 volts out of it, so I can use it to run things at 12 volt or plug in an inexpensive inverter on it. And I think that we can use this. This thing only runs 3 amps, so this would be for the single individual units I want to make that would just plug on one battery, and then you get this quick power pack. It's like picking up one of these things and be able to run 300 watts out of it. So that's what I'm hoping. I've been doing a lot of work on that. So that is something else I've been doing. I've been out there looking for that. I bought a set of these, 10 of them. I think they were like $1.50 a piece or so, if I remember right, is what I ended up paying for them. It was a good price, and I'll be able to make several that use these to do all that Ryobi battery pack, so I can step it down from 18 volts to 12 volts to do all sorts of things with it. So that's something I finally located those. So that's kind of been in the mix. Is I've been doing a lot of research and engineering ideas about how to do those battery packs so I get more utilization out of my battery source if power goes out, or if I want to load up into the van, because all of these power pack units that I want to make will also be able to be put into my van and use it there. Another thing I've been working on is let's look. Oh, I saw today a video on a guy that made his own little plywood gripper, I think is what I would call it. It's where you can hook it onto a piece of plywood and lift it up. Now, it was pretty light duty, but I really liked the design. And when I saw it, I saw where I could actually use that design and make it so I can make something that would actually work very well on being able to pick up full sheets of plywood. So instead of spending 25 or 26 bucks on one of those, I'm going to show you, I think I can show you how to make one for just pennies that will do the same job and work very, very well. So that's something else I've been working on too, trying to figure that all out. So I got all these things going all at once and looking for all these different parts. The other thing I've been working on is, if you remember Medusa, you know, my light, my LED Ryobi light, that P785 light, has 3 lights on it that all have 10-foot cords on them and everything. That, I think the cord management on that is just, I hate it. It doesn't work very well. The things they give you with it, you can wind the cords up on them, but I don't like it. But I had this idea in my head where I can take that cord and manage it with a little hand crank thing to wind the cord up on it and be able to unwind the cord, so managing the cord on these things will be a breeze. I think that's going to be really cool. So Medusa's going by the wayside, and I'm going to make a nice little base to put everything on, and I'll be able to put that base on a pole if I want. But most of the time I can just pick it up, carry it, and I can grab one light and pull it out and easily wind it back up and put it back on. I just want to make it so it's much easier and more user-friendly than what that has been. I like it. I really like that light. And when I get into my van, I guarantee you, that light is going to be in that van, because if I want light around it while I'm out somewhere camping, let's say, that thing is going to be perfect to be able to run off of Ryobi battery and light up your campsite. And it'll be awesome for that sort of thing. So I do have a use for that when I get done. And it's going to be part of my van build before we're done with that too. So that's what I said. I'm kind of bringing everything together on all these different projects. The last thing is that, and I talked about this before, I wanted to make a maskless, a no mask helmet that you can wear, so you have this air shield in front of your face so you don't breathe the dust. And wasn't well received, because I also said that you could probably take that and turn it into something that you could use even out in public to protect yourself from breathing in the virus. But there was a lot of stuff about it. But honestly, this one I'm making now is really going to be designed strictly to be used in my shop for controlling dust and eye protection, and it'll have hearing protection on it all in one place, so I don't have to actually wear the mask. Let me show you what I'm doing. First off, my experiment right here with this battery, I've run this thing for 11 hours off of this little 4,000 milliamp battery pack, and the thing runs. It's still on 3 lights. It started off fully charged with 4, and after 6 hours the first light finally went out, but for the last 5 it's still been running and it hasn't dropped down from 3 lights. So there's no doubt that I can get a long time running this little fan for my no mask hat, and it can all run off this little power pack. This fan runs off a USB port, which is what this battery pack is, that plugs into it, and it has its own cord. What did I do with the cord? Oh, here it is. It has its own cord that you plug it into the battery pack and plug this into any USB port to charge this up, and this thing takes about 4 or 5 hours, maybe even 6 if it's fully dead, to charge back up. So it's a handy little battery pack. You can buy these for about 10 bucks, I think, off of Amazon, and they are kind of handy to have. You can carry this in with your stuff so that if your battery on your phone or something starts to go dead, you can actually charge it back up right off of this battery pack without any problem. You can get, they say you can get 3 or 4 battery chargers on your phone from this battery pack. So, but I know one thing, I've been running that fan for 11 hours now, and it's still over half charged at this point. So I think I'm going to stop, but I found the fan I'm going to use for my no mask hat. So let me show you what I got for a hat. This is the thing, it's going to be perfect. I found it on Amazon, and basically it's just a construction helmet. It has the vents here, which are on the inside, so it helps keep the inside kind of cool just from ventilating when you're wearing it. So when you have this thing on and the thing's down, you can see it has a lip here to seal around that bill already, which is very cool. And this is a screen. Now they do also have, I just put this on there so I could use it and get a feel for it. But I do have a clear plastic one that will go on here instead of the screen, and this thing will be perfect to have on, so that if I want to keep the air, the dust away from my face, also for a shield to protect my eyes, this thing will be perfect with that shield on here, and the air will come in through the top. It has ear protection for your ears, so everything's built into this one unit. You get ear protection, eye protection, and breathing protection all from this when it gets done. And the way I'm going to do it is this fan is going to get mounted right on the top right here, like this, on top of this helmet. I'll box it in around it and seal it so that all the air that goes into the fan will get pushed. I'll drill out this area here so that all the air will go into the helmet. That means that all the air that goes into there, because you're wearing it on your head, you have that 2-inch gap between the hard shell and the cradle that your head sits on. There's about 2 inches there, so I'll put a shape of a foam in there so that when it comes into the inside, all that air will be pushed to this area up front here, so that that is the area right here in front of your face. So when you have the mask down and that area is blowing, that area's got to blow down here and blow out, so any dust out here won't be able to come in for you to breathe, because that air will be pushing it all away from your face that's blowing. This thing will be more than enough to blow that gently to keep it from coming in as you're breathing. So I think this is going to work. We won't know until we get it all together, but this is something that's taken a lot of time. Looking up all these different pieces, I've been testing all these different ideas of what parts to use and everything. This is my third fan, and this one is a winner. This will be perfect on here, and it should be pretty easy to get it mounted on here and stay out of the way of the ear protection and the eye protection when it goes up. I thought I was going to put a micro switch on here of some kind maybe, but I think that's not going to be worth the hassle. But I will tell you that this, it has a 3-speed controller with an on, with also turn it off. But I think on high is where it'll mostly be. So I'll probably just leave that switch where it is. You can turn it on and off from the switch right on the battery pack. You hold it down for 3 seconds and it turns the fan off. Just takes forever to stop. This is a great little fan. It actually, from what I understand, it has ball bearings in it instead of bushings. So this fan should go very long time without any problem. To turn it back on, you just hit the switch and boom. So I'll have an on and off switch built onto this whole thing. And this is so light, all of this will be easy to mount on top of that helmet. So when I get done, when I get that mounted, the only thing I'll have to do then is take and figure out, once it's mounted on the top and it's boxed all the way around, then I'll have to figure out some kind of box system to put on the top part with a drop-in filter, so that I can filter the air if I want, or I can take it off and wear it just to stay cool. You know, this will actually work for a cooling sensation too. So you'll be able to use it to stay cooler, and I think that I'll be able to change the filter out to 1 or 2 different filters, so you can get just pre-filtering, or you can put it in so you can get down to a maybe a little heavier micron protection filter, or even get down to something that's really super fine if you want. I don't know about that one, how well this fan will suck through that. I'd like to get something that is washable, I think. So I'm looking at different materials, sponges and pre-filters and things like that, that might be able to pull most of the dirt off of it, but I'll be able to take the filter and it's just going to sit in the very top of the box frame on this. And I'll be able to take it out, spray it off and clean it off and put it right back on. So I think this is coming together. I've spent a lot of time trying to figure this thing out ever since we talked about this. And I think I'm this close to making my first prototype now. I think I've got all the major components that will work to make this a success. So stay tuned. So as you can see, there's been a lot of things around here I've been doing. Plus, I have a couple of new projects I've been thinking about too, like my cord management on Medusa, to be able to wind that cord up with a hand-held cord retriever. I got that one has just been driving me crazy. I've been wanting to sit down and take the day it takes to do that, but I just haven't had time. But also, I want to make that gripper for lifting up plywood that I saw from that other guy, that other video. And I'll get more into that when I make that gripper for the picking up plywood and moving it around. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm sorry this took so long. I wanted to get this stuff off my chest though, and quite honestly, I should have warned you to bring a cup of coffee with you, because this is a lot of rambling. But I wanted to tell you about all these different things I'm kind of working on. If there's something here that you really want to see first, don't be afraid to tell me. If you have any suggestions or ideas of how I can make something else work better, like some ideas about my cargo rack, about what I could put up there, and because I'm going to put a box up there to store stuff in. I'm also going to probably try to make a space on top of that box where I can put a couple of solar panels Also, and so if you have some ideas of other things of what you can suggest for up there, I'm also going to put a deck up there. So I actually be able to put a lawn chair up there and be able to get up there and sit down. So if I'm out somewhere in a beautiful area and I want to be up on top and get a really good view, I'll be able to get up there and do it. So the van has been a lot of stop and thinking. So, but it's going very slow. The van is not going to get done this year. I'll tell you right now. I wanted to get it done this year, but I'll have some of the things done. First thing I got to do is I got to get it rough built so I can get plywood in and out of that van, because I need to be able to, once this quarantine stops, I'll be able to use it to go get plywood and haul plywood in it when I'm not using it to go camping. It's going to be able to be moving back and forth between those two modes, multitasker. So that's where I'm at. I hope this kind of brings you up to speed of what I'm doing. Any thoughts about any of these things, just leave me a comment anywhere. Look for that Otb PSS video to come out in the next day or so. I really, truly am going to try to get that one done first. That is my top priority right now, is to get that done and show you where I'm at with it, so I can kind of put that off to the side and really focus on, I really want to focus on the hat, and I really want to focus on my power units, my 2 power packs that I want to make. So if you have anything that you want to see me do first, or any suggestions about any of it, leave it in the comments. It's always appreciated, and that's what I'm looking for, is some help. Like I said, if you know bed height or height of the van, what you think is the best height, let me know what you think, because I'd rather figure it out now than after I get it done. So anyway, I think that's about it. Thank you if you stayed this long. I want to thank you for sticking around so long. Leave your comments. If you learned something here, or if you like this video, hit that like button. Or if you think you want me to keep going, you probably should hit that like button every once in a while. It helps me know that I'm doing the right thing. But most importantly, come back again, because as the other sign says, I'm nowhere near done. Thanks, and we'll see you guys again very soon. See ya.